Good day, viewers. I hope and believe that you are doing so well there at home. As usually, I'm not alone. Here with me, I'm having Manushana. Today, we are going to talk about domestic violence. I believe that is the topic that most of us we know. We are so related to it. So we are going to unpack it so that we may get to understand it in depth. So join us in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Manushana, how are you?
I'm okay, and how are you?
I'm fine. Welcome to the God Be the Glory Talk Show.
Thank you.
So, Manushana, today we are going to talk about this important topic, domestic violence. In your own understanding, what is domestic violence?
In my own understanding, domestic violence is an aggression or a force of a certain thing that makes someone feel uncomfortable. It comes in different ways. It could be physical abuse, it could be emotional, sexual, financial, and many other things. So anything that makes one feels unhappy and uncomfortable coming from someone else. It could be a man, or it could be a woman, or it could be in a relationship. That is how I define domestic violence.
You say that is something that has to do with something that makes someone to feel uncomfortable. What if someone can say that, okay, I'm not doing domestic violence, what I'm doing, maybe I'm just keeping discipline and all those. How to differentiate? Because I think there's a thin line between someone saying that I'm just giving a discipline or because that's how I am. How can we differentiate this thing?
There are two different things. When you discipline someone, you don't put a force with an intention to harm that person. When you discipline someone, what you're trying to do is just to show them a direction of what they're doing is wrong. So when you're doing domestic violence, your intention is to hurt that particular person. So everything that you do, or whatever word that you alter into your mouth, your intention is to make sure that that person that you're giving out that word to, or the person that you're saying the word to, should feel the pain that comes with the words that you are saying. So those are two different things. You cannot say you're disciplining someone when the words that you're saying, you definitely know that even when they come to you, you wouldn't feel okay around those words.
Wow. So what places can you say that domestic violence is mostly occurring?
Mostly domestic violence occur in homes, in people that we trust, people that we call our loved ones, are the ones that usually would want to hurt you. So domestic violence happens in, like, I could say everywhere or any place. But basically the most hurtful domestic violence is the one that happens within the household.
But can you say that people do understand that this is domestic violence, and people are get used to it in such a way that they just live with it and saying that that's how we live, it's a normal thing?
Mama, all I can say is domestic violence is a very complicated thing to understand, especially when it's happening to you. Because sometimes you find yourself telling yourself that, no man, this person is just angry. There's nothing wrong that he's doing. This is how he lives, or this is, if let me make an example about your partner. This is how my partner is. He is always angry, or he's always aggressive towards me. So you end up getting used to those kind of treatment to a point where you don't see it as a wrong thing that is happening to you. So sometimes there are people who are living within the issue of gender-based violence or the domestic violence thing, but they don't see anything wrong about it because they see it as a norm to live in this kind of situation, because that is how their partner treats them, and they feel it's okay for their partner to treat them in that way, because that is the only treatment that they know.
So basically this domestic violence is more of abuse, basically.
It is abuse. It is abuse. It's just that it comes in different forms, and it comes in different ways. So it is abuse because we cannot say it is abuse that is happening within the house.
And it's so subtle enough. Can you say that it's subtle enough that even maybe the neighbors can fail even to realize that?
It's not easy to spot domestic violence, especially within the house. It's only easy to spot it when maybe it's physical abuse, because it's, you can see when someone's got the blue eyes, you can see when someone can't walk properly, but yesterday that person was walking like a normal person. That is how the neighbors can be able to spot. But there's one domestic violence that happens within the household that are very difficult to spot. It's emotional abuse. You can only see the person that is not happy, but some they are able to like shield it so good to a point where you can't even notice that this person is going through the most within their house. So it's something that is not easy to spot, but only when it comes out of the house, that is where you can see that no, man, in that household there's something that is not okay, or there's something that is so offish within that house. But if it doesn't come out of the household, or no one talks about it, or the woman doesn't express what is happening in her house, it's very rare to like just figure out what is actually happening. Yeah.
Wow. I believe that you are getting to learn, viewers there at home, this sensitive issue and then sensitive topic that I believe that most of people, we are so much related to it, and we share the sentiment with it. So when I talk about emotional abuse, that is not easy to see or to spot on people. What can you say, I mean, to give it clarity, what is emotional abuse? If you are abused emotionally, what are the signs? What is it that is happening?
Emotional abuse is when your partner or someone use words that are hurtful to you. It could be in a form of degrading your body shape. It could be in a form of showing less of value of your life into their life, by just altering any kind of weight that you think, just to make sure that your self-confidence just goes down or melts down in a split of a second. For example, let's just say you go out of the house and you are wearing a dress, and in that dress you feel, you know what, I feel like I look beautiful. And someone or your partner just says to you, Mbale Njani, what kind of a dress is this? Do you think you want to go out of my house looking like that? So it starts growing to a point where you start feeling less of a person in that particular relationship, because whatever that you do, it comes with like difficult words that put you down all the time. So your self-confidence is always like not okay, because you're always moving, asking yourself, whatever that I'm doing, what is he going to say about this? So you always have that thing in your mind that is always reversing within your mind, that is he going to comment in a positive or a negative way? Or you just get used to the fact that I always receive negative words, and those words then alter into your brain, and then you end up looking at yourself in the way that that person always tell you.
So I think that's a problem, because at the end of the day, you start to see yourself in the picture of what that other person is painting for yourself, and you lose self in the process.
Yes, that's definitely true. When it comes to emotional abuse, you always find yourself losing yourself within the process, because you end up looking at yourself like you are not worthy to be around a certain group of people, or to be around with, there's partners who could even say, you're not good enough for me. I've got women who, when they look at me, they see me as I've got more value. And when I walk with you on the street, it's like you're taking away the value that I have. So, and you end up feeling that indeed, I'm not of value. I'm working with this person and he's more value than me. So it's like you find yourself losing yourself within. You just don't know who you are anymore because of this person that keeps saying words to you. So if you don't take yourself away from that kind of situation, you'll find yourself drained, stress, depression, and all those things will just follow you along the way, because whatever that is saying, it's coming in and it's rereading your mind always, and at the end of the day, there's no way you can live a normal life after being emotionally abused.
So can you say that most people they have lost their self-worth in the process of being emotional abuse for a very long time until they lose self and they start to see themselves as nobody or they value themselves basically.
Yeah, it does happen, Mama, to a point where if someone doesn't get out of the situation, at the end of the day, you lose yourself. You lose yourself understanding. But if I know that I'm Lebu and I know that I am good at a certain thing, I end up judging myself as well. Am I really good enough for such a kind of situation? Because there's this person who's constantly telling me that I am not good enough. And at the end of the day, you will realize that all those women, they find themselves sitting in the house and not wanting to go out because they feel that no one will ever look to them the way that they feel they should be looked at. So it's either they also, in kids, sometimes you find that they start being abusive as well. Like they alter those words that they hear from their parents in the house to other kids just to make sure that they inflict the pain that they see in the house. So it's something that is like, it's very broad and very painful because spotting it's difficult. Because in some relationship, when you see them when they are outside, they look very happy.
Yeah, that's
They're
the
like
thing. Yeah.
the best couple, like the goal couple that you could wish to be. But when they go inside their house, things become like you are like living with a monster that is like gentle outside, but inside they are a monster. So it's just a mess.
So can you say that these perpetrators, they are so intentional about using such ways just to demean you, just to take away that confidence, or they're just doing it ignorantly, or some they do it like intentionally, knowing what they're doing?
To my understanding, it's no longer about I don't know what I'm saying. It's now you are doing it repeatedly. You understand the pain that you are inflicting in that person. Because immediately when you say something towards a person and then you see your wife like crumbling down and like not herself anymore, then it means you understand what that word that you used is doing to that particular person. So you cannot go out and say, I don't know what I was doing, or I don't understand what I was doing, because the facial expression of the person that you are giving or altering the word to, you can already see that whatever that I'm saying, this person is not receiving it very well. So when you're continuously doing it, then you're doing it intentionally and you understand what you're doing. And your purpose is very clear. It's to make sure that this person doesn't have confidence around whatever that they're doing.
Wow. So it is true to say that these people who are so much keen to abuse, in most cases, simply because they are abused, so they are feeling pain, so they want to transfer the very same pain to other people, basically.
Yeah, I can say the abusers are very strategic people. They strategize their ways of doing things. There is what we call a circle of abuse. It's like we have a honeymoon stage and then we move and then there are so many circles that this person goes around. And then when you start realizing or when they start seeing what you are realizing what they're doing to you, they start becoming sweet. And then they become like a honeymoon stage into your life just to make sure that it takes away what they were doing into you. It's either they will buy things or it's either they will do something just to make sure that you are happy for a certain minute of time or certain days, and then they start doing the second again and abusing you again. And it's something that one master it from maybe the background. Because I can say it's not something that just developed out of nowhere. It's something that one sees it happening. It's either in the environment that they grew up in, Or when they were moving around their friends and they saw these things happening, and they thought that whatever that is happening, it's okay to do it to the next person. And then they start enjoying doing such things to the next person to a point where they feel you can't stop anymore because it's something that is within them. When you do something like that, they enjoy it to a point where they like, it's life. And I just have to say all this because I want to make sure that someone feels the pain that I felt when someone was doing this to my mother or to me.
And again, I think it's the thing of they feel that they are in control because I think they want to control, to be fair, to be basically to feel like they're entitled. I mean, everyone is under them. They want to be filled, and so it goes to everyone to be afraid of you. And wow.
Yeah, they abusers always want to be in control. Once they feel they are losing their control, then they start strategizing around the next abuse that they can use. Because now they see you are used to, maybe you are used to be beaten, and then you don't see anything wrong anymore. You even ask the person, aren't you beating me today? Because you are used to. And then they start strategizing around it, and they go like, no, it means whatever that I'm doing right now, it's no longer inflicting pain to this person. I need to find something new that will make sure that this person feels the pain that I want the person to feel. So they are always in a journey to strategize around what next to do. It's not something that I can say you'll be moving around thinking about it. But once you see that person, you develop something that says to you, do something to this person. It's like a demonic spirit that is just moving around you, and you just can't control it because you feel it's normal to live life in this way.
Wow, wow. So, basically, can we say that abuse, it becomes a habitual thing, and then it becomes something that you cannot do without, or you cannot leave it until you get a proper rehabilitation or a proper help, basically. It's not something you just decide on saying that, no, I quit because it's not good.
Rehabilitation, yes, it is important, but there are those who do stop abusing their perpetrators or their victims. Sorry to say, the perpetrator will stop abusing the victim to a point where if they find someone who is able to explain to them what is it that they are doing and the kind of pain they are inflicting to the next person, some are able to stop.
Okay.
Some are, you really need to go to a process where you see a psychologist, you see a therapist and all those things. But to others, they are able to stop the abuse like naturally. So when you just feel like whatever that you do, I think it's completely wrong. It depends on the kind of abuse that that person is doing and has gone through themselves, and what is it that they want to feel at the end of the whole process.
Wow. Viewers, there, I believe that you are getting to understand and we're getting clarity as we are unpacking what is it when we talk about domestic violence. You say that some they can just quit. I mean, it's easy if someone can talk to them and they get a sense out of it and they just live that life. Can you say that some of the abusers, I mean, it's more deeper than the background they grow into, and it's more of spiritual because I mean, how can you? Because I have learned that life is more holistically, and sometimes maybe judging life, looking at one aspect, you can maybe don't get the right answers that you are looking for. Don't you think that some of these behaviors are more spiritually, more than just the way someone grew up or a certain family, a background, and influence from friends? Because how can someone just enjoy to inflict pain to someone? I understand psychologically, yes, it does make sense because maybe it's something that you experience, then you feel it's normal to do to other people. But don't you think, more especially as Christian, that sometimes the spiritual part is part of whatever is happening to such people?
I do. I do a lot. To a point where that's why when I was explaining, I said it's a more of like a demonic spirit that is moving within that particular person, just to make sure that whatever a demon is like a demonic spirit is something that enjoys pain, like the spirit just want to inflict pain on the next person, no matter how the pain. And even if when you feel like you don't want to do this, but because the spirit that is inside of you, it's always pushing you to make sure that do this, because we live within this kind of spirit. So because the spirit that is inside of you is the one that is pushing you to constantly want to show word, go and hurt these people, go and hurt women, because women are not very valuable to you. So that spirit always controls you to a point where even though you don't want to do it, you find yourself doing it. So it's more of a spiritual thing, Mama, to a point where you also need to be delivered from that spirit, so that you can be able to stop what you are doing. Because it shows that whatever that you're doing, it's not of a normal. God doesn't like hurting people.
That's true.
So
that's true.
God is not someone that enjoys pain in the next person, or just putting pain on someone. So immediately you enjoy such thing of making sure that the next person is in pain, and it means there's a demonic spirit that is moving inside of you that just want to be taken away, or just want to be delivered out of you, so that you can value the life of the next person.
Wow. So in your Christian walk and in your experience, basically, does Christians do abuse people, or it's only people who are not saved? I mean, what can you say about that?
Abuse happens everywhere. Abuse happens in churches, happens in pastors' homes, happens in people who are not spiritually, godly, spiritual, I can put it in that way. Abuse happens everywhere, in every household. There is no woman who would raise their hand and say, I've never experienced abuse in my life. Could be in any kind of form, but when it happens to someone who is like spiritually understand the issue, and it becomes easy for that person to take away that sense of abuse in their life, so that we can start moving in a direction where God wants them to move, because now they understand the godly way instead of just being the abuser as a person.
Wow. Mama, this topic is so broad. I believe that you can hear that as we are unpacking it. It's so broad. It needs not just only this time, but it needs more time. So I believe that we are going to have part 2 on how to understand now how to bridge the gap and then between the spirituality and the psychologically side of humanity, on how to deal with this abuse and the domestic violence that we are experiencing every day. How does prayer fit in, and all those kind of things. So I believe that part 2 we are going to have soon, so that we may get to understand and get the solution out of it. Today we are just unpacking the intro about the domestic violence. So I believe that you are getting to learn there, and then you are going to learn more as we continue in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. If you are there, you are experiencing this thing, just pray about it, and then find people who are knowledgeable about it, like social workers and all those kind of, to get more, because as they said that it's not easy to spot. Sometimes we think that just a normal behavior, whereas it's not at all. Mama, as we are ending our show, what the word of advice in a minute that you can say to our viewers?
All I can say to our viewers is say, when you are experiencing domestic violence in your home, do not keep quiet. Talk about it. There are people out there who can help you through the situation. voice it out. I think the biggest challenge with us women is we find ourselves keeping quiet about issues that at the end of the day others find themselves getting killed, others find themselves living in a house where they are fear, their partners, their kids are not happy about the situation. So as women, let's learn to talk, let's learn to advise each other, protect each other. And then if you find yourself in that kind of situation, there are plenty of places that you can go to just to find help. You can even go to the police station, you can go to the therapist, you can go to a psychologist. There is VEP in the police station that can also assist you. You can even go to your home. There's nothing wrong in going back to our homes if situations are too much for us to handle. So there's no way you can say I cannot go home because people will start calling me names. Let's always say I can go home when things are not okay, and take my kids away from toxic situation so that they can grow up to be better men and better women in the future.
Wow. Viewers at home, thank you very much. I believe you find that so much educative and you have learned a lot. As I've said, we are going to continue. Love you so much. Keep on subscribing and keep on watching. In the mighty name of Jesus, be blessed. Amen.